Well, welcome back to Reflections. Your host Jorge Gonzalez, and my guest is Dr. Silvia Fernandez Colorado, Dr. Soul. And when we finished the last segment, you were talking about a teaching method. And I was just asking how that compares to the Montessori system and some of these other systems where the persons are, allowed to go to do what they want and to be very respectful and not have just sitting down and being
Too
told
rigid,
what
too
to
rigid.
learn. So tell me about your this
Approach.
method, this approach.
Yeah, some people call it an approach. I call it a philosophy of life, gentle teaching. And gentle teaching was developed by 4 Americans in the 70s. And one of them was Dr. John McGee. And he was my mentor. He was the monitor for the case here for the adults with disability.
Okay.
And he purposefully presented gentle teaching for this population. But it can be used with children, it can be used with adults, with anybody. And that's why I call it a philosophy of life, because it has to do with how you use these 4 tools. You want to guess what the 4 tools are that we have? And this goes to what you were saying about listening to what the other one is not saying,
Right.
And it has to do, the 4 tools of gentle teaching are your eyes. What are your eyes saying? Are you paying attention, or are you looking otherwise, or are you going like this, or are you looking under your glasses? Are you paying? What are you doing with your eyes? So what are your eyes saying?
Right.
Are you judging? You know how somebody looks at you when they're judging, right? How are your eyes towards the others?
Right.
The other one is your hands. What are you doing with your hands? In Puerto Rico, we use our hands a lot, right? How are you using your hands? Are you using your finger like this all the time? Are you using the pen as an extension of your finger to tell someone something? And I tell people, I used to work for
How
the.
about when they do this a lot? When they come out and they touch your arm or they touch your knee,
I think the knee is too personal, but if they go something like on your shoulder, maybe it's to grab your attention. Some people want to grab your attention all the time. This could be something for you to just. Do you see my hand? I went like, I didn't go. This is something for you to. You see this? It's easy, but people.
Your palm with you're not on TV, but you're the palm instead of your finger pointing. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forget. Instead of pointing at the person, use your hand as a spoon to offer a comment. And I tell, this might be something for you to look at. Is this person always touching to get my attention? Only me, or is this something that this person does with everyone?
Right.
Because maybe the person feels like you're not paying attention to them, and that's why they're grabbing your attention by touching you on the shoulder or the hand or the knee. Right? So the hand is one of the tools. Also, the children, the moms. I'm not a mother, so mothers and fathers, I give you a huge round of applause for trying this amazing life called parenthood. I don't know how you can do it, but I'm amazed every day how you do it. But I tell them, or I ask them, have you noticed the difference between grabbing a child's arm and holding their hand? When they grab the wrist, the children want to get away. Who likes to imagine your boyfriend, your wife, your girlfriend holding you on the wrist instead of the hand? You're gonna want to get away.
Right.
So hold their hands, and this is so gentle, and this is so nice, and it's not part of gentle teaching, but I added in there the pointing, and instead of pointing, using your finger as a little spoon to offer. That's not gentle teaching. That's me putting something into gentle teaching to help people understand how gentle teaching can be brought into every day with everyone.
Okay.
So the eyes, the hands, your posture. Are you leaning back? Are you leaning forward? Are you putting your head on your
hands, arms crossed like I am right now.
Arms crossed. Sometimes this can be that you're cold,
Yeah.
but this is something that people might misinterpret as aloof, or you're blocked away from listening or paying attention, or open-heartedness. It can be, not always, but it could be misinterpreted like that. And so what are you doing with your eyes? What are you doing with your hands, with your posture, and with your words? What are the words that you are using? Some people might have someone hacer un corte de pastelillo. How do you say that in English? That's a good one, right? Cutting in front of you in the car, right? Like violently going into your lane. And in Puerto Rico, some people will be like, it's gonna be a terrible day. Somebody just did that to me. And I'm like, what? You're gonna ruin your own day because one person was in a hurry, or not courteous enough, or in a hurry to go to the bathroom, or had somebody at the hospital waiting for them. You don't know what this person is going through. You don't know. And so give them the benefit of the doubt, and don't let them ruin your day. Those are the 4 tools of gentle teaching. Your eyes, your words, your hands, and your posture. How you use those to show and to offer a gentle lifestyle. And this works miracles with your lifestyle and with everybody else around you.
And in terms of how it ties in with the teaching of Montessori or the democratic.
I didn't go into that because I don't know. That is a question that I have to look up. I have never really learned about those methods of teaching. We went to Perpetuo Socorro and then Buchanan, and I didn't work in the school area as a psychologist or life coach.
I studied sitting and listening to a lecture, and all the way through parochial school, and there was this great statement by this person. I think they call it democratic schools, but basically you're allowed, you have a dialogue instead of unilateral.
It's more loose.
And that's the way the Montessori, that you sit in a circle and you work with each other, you help each other. But this person was saying, can you imagine if somebody told you that for 8 years you're going to be sitting in a chair wrapped around you, and for about 5 to 6 hours you can't get out of that chair? Doesn't that sound like prison?
Terrible.
And then people are telling you what you have to learn, and if you're not interested, you can't do anything about it. And if you're worried about saying you don't understand because you'll sound silly, doesn't that sound like the worst persecution that you can imagine?
And that's the school
and I started
system.
thinking, and so when I was teaching a law school class, it's called the effective lawyer beyond legal expertise, and what are the non-legal aspects of being successful or effective, because another word is successful, but effective. And the students would get there, they're all sitting in their pupils, not pupils, but the tables going up, and they'd all open up their laptop, and they're ready for my lecture, and I said, close the laptop. My class for 5 days is not going to have any kind of a lecture. I'm not going to teach you anything. We're going to learn together. So and then I said, I want each of you to find someone who you don't know. If you're next to them, just to be sure, I want you to find somebody, and I want you for about 5 minutes to talk to each other, and I want you then to tell the class what you learned about that person, and then I'm going to have you ask in a short paragraph, 10, 15 lines, the essence of what you learned about that person. So, and then you're going to grade each other. That's the other thing. I had them grading each other. So anyway, but this whole thing of education of unilateral lecturing and all is so I don't know if yet general teaching is part of it. I mean,
it must be.
The other part isn't very gentle.
It must be, no. But that's an amazing and very beautiful and comprehensive icebreaker that you did there. because it not only allows for one person to express themselves, but it breaks down all the strict rules of law school, and it's more about who is the other. What are your goals? What are your fears? What do you like about life? What do you like?
Well, and I put in a frame like for 1 year. I would say you're now it's 5 years after you've graduated,
Nice.
and you've just interviewed Sylvia, and you're given a toast as to what happened.
Nice.
So they had.
So that's even better because you're
they had
helping
to
them
give.
think about
They
what
had
their
to
future.
focus on. And so it always was in a certain kind of a focus, and they enjoyed it tremendously. But it was also public speaking,
Yes, of course.
persuasion, and then they had to quickly put in writing, what that the essence of what they were gonna. So it was fun. But anyway, I want you to talk to us about, because I love this story. It was one of the few things I really, other than Vieques and the Boys and Girls Club, because I really, Sylvia came to my life, 4 weeks ago in her presentation to San Juan Rotary. And of course, it's so much in tune with what I am doing now and what I love. But she told me the story. I asked her about, Dr. Soul. Tell us the story how that came up, and then we had a little bit of a talk about when somebody is involved in something, and it's with all their mind, heart, and soul. And I said, how do you separate the heart from the mind from the soul? But tell us the story about how you came up with how that came up.
Yeah, that's very unconventional. So I studied psychology, and I knew one of the places I worked at, it was a psychiatric hospital here in Puerto Rico, and it was so clear to me that there weren't any crazy people. The people were just lacking love and acceptance from others, and in that sense for themselves. And that for me is the key. Self-love is the key for joy, for happiness, for connection with others, for peaceful living, etc. And I was working for Kinesis.org for Jose Enrique Fernandez, this nonprofit organization that helps students with low-income families go to college. And they start since grade 7. That's beautiful. And I was their coach. And there was this guy working there who's now very happy and successful doing what he loves. And I won't say your name, but I love you if you're hearing this. And I'm so happy for you. And he said, well, Sylvia, it seems like you're changing your life a lot. Like you went to Isabela, and now you're thinking about moving to Vieques. And I go to this spiritual guide, and maybe you like what she says, and maybe she can help you. And I was like, nah, I don't believe in any of that. And now I give a meeting called Soul Alignment, based on intuition. So
you changed.
Yes, I've changed 10 years later, and I'm talking about soul alignment and coaching meetings based on intuition. And so I went to this lady, and I'm like, I'm gonna go all white. She can't say anything about my the way I'm dressed.
She's basically most white today.
Most white, yeah. and no makeup. I'm gonna go really like a plain person. Jane Doe, whatever.
Yeah.
And I got there, and she started saying this and that. And I was like, no, maybe not. And she says, yeah, I don't remember what she said. And I was like arguing with her, and she said, you know what? If you don't believe in what I do, I can give you your money back, and you can go. And I was like, okay, Sylvia, relax. Don't be so defensive. Relax. Listen to this lady. Take your time. Whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna relax. And then she said, so you're thinking about moving to Vieques? And I was like, what? And she said, you're gonna do a lot of volunteer work. What? And she said, and all these things that she said, I mean, not all, but many of them came true. But then for a moment I started thinking to myself, is this her knowing what's going to happen, or me following what she said unconsciously? So I only went to her maybe once every 6 months, because I was living in Vieques. She was in San Juan at the time. I went twice to her every 6 months for 2 years. So I saw her 4 times. And then the first time she came, she's like, you should call yourself Dr. Soul. And I was like, no, that's too pretentious. I can't do that. And this was 2014. But then in 2018, I realized, okay, I'm ready for this now. I think my intuition is so in tune with other people, and I can connect so easily with other people and help them, that I'm going to take this name. So I took it, and everybody loves it, and I like it, so it sticks.
And the challenge I gave you, I said, I came up with this phrase, you're really involved in something, and you put your heart and soul into it, and so I asked you,
What's the difference?
What is the difference? Because most people, have the heart, the soul.
Some people don't believe in it. Some people say, "Oh, you have no soul."
It's not.
Who made up
you
that?
see it. You see it. It's not spiritual. You don't see it spiritual.
I don't see it as something spiritual. Some people do, and I respect that. I see it as an essence, as your essence. But what is an essence? It's also so it doesn't. You can't see it. You can't measure it, and so it's hard to explain. But I tell people, you know what your essence is when you feel good about yourself. When something feels good about yourself, that is your essence. And many people say, but Sylvia, how can I find my purpose? Because everybody, all the young people are like, oh, there's so much information on find your purpose and be happy, whatever makes you happy, that has to do with your purpose.
Remember, we had this conversation with Nidia Suarez at that San Juan Rotary. And then she did a study, and she says of course, she says mind, heart, and soul. And so she says, the mind, of course, is the logic, and it says the soul, from what she sent me, the soul represents our deeper eternal essence, our connection to something greater than ourselves. In Hinduism, it's called the Atman, the true self that transcends the body and mind. The soul is viewed as the center of our consciousness and purpose, beyond the temporary fluctuations of our thoughts and emotions. It is what seeks truth and ultimate meaning. The most profound part of us. Yeah. It's what we really are.
It's the essence.
It's our essence. Then it says the heart is seen as the seat of emotions, love, and compassion. In Islam, the heart, qalb, is often seen as the center of spiritual insight and understanding. And in Christianity, it's a place where God loves resides. Guides us in our relationships, our deeper sense of empathy, aligning. I love the soul. I love the mind. I was not convinced with the heart, and I told her, I said, that for me the heart is more emotional, more somewhat physical, passion, etc. And the mind has to control it, but the soul is.
It's like Betito Rosa's song.
Well, listen, they said that by the time we're just getting going, but we've run out of time. So this is Jorge Gonzalez Reflections. My guest is Dr. Sylvia Fernandez. I've enjoyed this tremendously. Thank you for joining us. And my program emphasizes how important we have to take care of ourselves as the first priority. Yes. And every time I end my program saying, take care of yourself, take care of your well-being. We'll see you next week. Good luck. Que Dios lo bendiga.
Thank you, Jorge.
All right.